Looking at Pope Francis's coffin, which has just arrived at his final resting place of the Santa Maria Maggiore Basilica, where thousands have gathered to watch the funeral in the Pope's final resting place. Crowds are gathering with security surrounding the streets being tightened. And we are now looking at visuals of the Pope's final resting place, which is the Santa Maria Maggiore Basilica, where there's a sense of spiritual reflection and a quiet anticipation. The Pope's coffin is now being moved into his final resting place by the funeral processors. His wooden coffin there, with 5 people either side carrying the Pope's coffin, his wooden coffin. Cardinals there side to side applauding, giving respects to the late pontiff. Breaking the tradition at his personal request, the popes are usually traditionally buried inside the Vatican in 3 coffins. The Pope decided to approach the situation in a much more humble manner and has been put in a wooden coffin lined with zinc. Humility was at the center of his mind when it came to this. Pallbearers leading the coffin inside St. Maria's Basilica there, led by a crucifix as the ceremonial hymns start and the procession begins to the Pope's final resting place. We are now covering the Pope as he arrives in his final resting place at St. Maria's Basilica. Ceremonial hymns are being sung, cardinals are proceeding through the halls, the first pope to be buried outside of the Vatican at his personal request since 1903, the final resting place of Pope Francis. He was brought here through the streets of Rome in his Pope-mobile to his final resting place in the streets in St. Maria's Basilica. If you've just joined us, we're covering the funeral of Pope Francis. The body has just arrived in St. Maria's Basilica. Pope Francis was known for being an unconventional pope. What's different about this funeral is that he's being buried outside the Vatican City at the place that you're seeing now, St. Mary's Basilica, which will be his St. Maria's Basilica, which will be his final resting place. He is the first pope to be laid to rest outside the Vatican for the first time in 103 years. As we've said previously, Francis had a reputation for being an unconventional pope, but many of these traditions that you are seeing on your screens now have dictated his funeral, have been part of this process for over 2,000 years in the Catholic Church. This entire day has been compiled in a 400-page document put together in preparation for the Pope's death, including literacy, prayers, music. All of this has been very acutely planned. But one of the most notable changes is the Pope's coffin. Previous popes were entombed in 3 interlocking coffins, and very different to what Pope Francis is being buried in here at Santa Maria Basilica in Rome. Different to the Vatican. The 3 previous popes have been buried in 3 interlocking coffins, one made from cypress, the second made from metal, and the third made from elm or oak in previous burials of popes. Francis specified that only one coffin, a wooden lined with the zinc, should be used. As you can see, the Italian sun is beaming down on mourners as thousands of people gather throughout the streets of the Vatican and throughout the streets of Rome to pay their